All right. Well, I am so happy to be here today with everyone. This is such an exciting time when I get to run these challenge and just help people to understand the real truth that if you think you're broken, if your doctor told you that while there's nothing more that you can do for whatever chronic illness, whatever chronic symptoms that you're suffering from, if you think that all you can do is just live on the big pharma roller coaster and just let this thing, all the inflammation just continue to go on and on and on and on and on, and you're never really doing anything about the root causes. Well, wow, that's crazy. Okay, that's just totally crazy. So I welcome everyone here this morning. So excited that you're here to learn today. Today, it's very, very exciting because it is the pre-party. The actual 3-day challenge starts tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And of course, if this is also being put out live, and so, if you need your ticket to come to the challenge, you can just go to risehealchallenge.com. Super easy. And you can join us Wednesday through Friday this week, where I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about the science that tells you that you can heal. Just like me, just like all of our other clients that have been with us, right? And that we've been helping for over 10 years now. This is real. You really can feel better. And I want to invite people to go ahead and talk to us in the chat. I am by myself today. Tomorrow, I will be joined by Garrett Brown, who is my operations manager, and he will be helping me with the chat and all that tomorrow. Today, it's just me for the pre-party. And, for me, I want to speak directly as though I'm just speaking to one person, and that's you. This is your life here we're talking about. This is not Your health is not something that you should just, okay, well, if the doctor says this is all I can do, then I guess that's all I can do. Because the Lord has so much more for you, so much more. And, the honest truth is, and I'm going to get into my full story of how I healed in a minute. The honest truth is that if I had continued to believe everything that I was taught as a research scientist, if I'd continued to believe that that was all there was, the truth is that I would not be here talking to you today, because I was one sick puppy. And it's really not funny. I really was sick and literally dying for 14 years. And so now the beauty of what God has done in my life is, he allowed me to go through all that so that I can be here. And so that I can show you that, I've actually walked through this myself. I know the hell you're going through. I know the bouncing around from doctor to doctor to doctor, trying to get that elusive diagnosis. Or if you do have the diagnosis already, or maybe you've got, like me, I had 7 diagnoses, actually 8, with severe fibromyalgia. Okay. Maybe you've got all that. Maybe you're on the 20 different medications like I was. Maybe every time you go to the doctor, all they do is tell you, well, this is all you can do, and throw another pill at you to try to take care of the side effects of all the other pills that they're giving you. I mean, what a Babylon system that we're working in, right? And really, it got corrupted. It honestly did, but I'm going to get into that during the challenge on another day. Right now, today, during the pre-party, what I want to do is I want to make sure that everyone watching this, whether you're here in the room or whether you're live or whether you're grabbing the recording when you got off of work, right? Whatever is happening, wherever you are, I want you to know that you're in our community now. And or if you're not, then you better make sure, if you don't get messages from me on a regular basis, make sure that you go to risehealchallenge.com. I'm going to say it again, risehealchallenge.com, and make sure that you are in our private community. Hey, it's totally free, and it's my mission. It's the calling on my life in order to give people who come into our community here. I'm always going to give you, right off the bat, I'm just going to give you things for free that can actually help you start to see the truth that you really can feel better. Usually people start feeling better in at least a few weeks, right? Even if you've got major severe chronic illness or autoimmunity, oh my gosh, there is just so much that you can do that your doctor is not telling you and you really don't know. You think you know, you think you've tried everything, okay? Everyone that comes into my system here, I have never talked to one person who knows everything that we do as scientists and as precision healthcare scientists and doctors. I have never met one person who said they've tried everything who had actually tried everything. Never, not once. In 10 years. It's a fact that most people just don't know what they don't know. And there is so much more that you can do and so much more that you could be learning, you could be doing. And it's not that hard, okay? It's not rocket science. You really can do these things. And, a lot of it can be free. All the fundamentals that you must be doing, all those mistakes that you're making that you don't even know they're mistakes, you think they're the right thing to do, okay? Most of these things are free. That's the truth, okay? And yes, if you've got very, very severe chronic illness, severe autoimmune disease, heart disease, and anything that's been entrenched for a while, which a lot of people do, yeah, you're probably going to have to put a little money into your health, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, when you consider that it gives you your life back. But you can start basically essentially for free, except for, you still got to buy your food. You still got to eat. And so that's the calling on my life. Before I get started and start telling you about my story and, how the Lord took my life as a scientist and completely turned it upside down, I just want to let you know that there is powerful hope for you. You are not broken. Your body is not so broken that it cannot heal. I don't care what the doctor said. I don't care how severe you think you are. I don't care how many symptoms you have. Okay, look, I had so many symptoms, I felt like a hypochondriac for many, many, many years. Okay, they're all gone now. Well, at least, almost all of them are completely gone. Maybe there's one little thing I need to manage once in a while if I'm a bad girl. Okay, which, none of us are perfect. None of us are Jesus. So I just want to give you that hope before I tell you my story, that you literally can heal. God designed your immune system to heal you. You're not broken just because you might have been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. Your immune system can stop overreacting to things. Yes, your immune system can heal. Yes, your gut can heal. Yes, your brain function can heal. Yes, your liver can heal. Your kidneys can heal. Your lungs can heal. Your esophagus can heal. Whatever the diagnosis is, yes, you can do so much more than what you think you can do. So please don't limit yourself, because I'm going to say it right out loud, because I love Jesus. I love the Lord, and the Lord put a very, very, very powerful calling on my life. And so I don't shy away from the fact that Satan wants you limited. Hello. Okay. I mean, can I get a big, fat, loud amen? He is the enemy of your life. He is the great deceiver. He is running around like a roaring lion. Look, our scriptures do not lie. Okay? The Lord does not lie to us. And yes, if you think that you cannot heal, wow, have you been lied to? And if you're choosing to believe that lie, okay, then you might as well just wrap it up and leave now. Don't even keep listening to me right now. Because if that's what you're going to choose to believe, Satan already got you in a trap. But if you are willing to simply look at the thousands of scientific papers that prove that we know what your root causes are, it's no longer idiopathic. If you are just willing to look at the truth that the Lord is bringing to you through me today. And it's not just me telling this truth, okay? There are literally hundreds of good doctors and scientists and health coaches and nurse practitioners and everybody out there who know what I know, okay? So it's not like I'm the only person just, blowing a bunch of smoke, okay? right? This is real. And if you don't know about it, Bobby Kennedy is just starting to know about it. Okay. I mean, our government is just starting to do what they need to do about this. Oh my gosh, are they way behind? We've known this stuff for 30 years and they're just now getting around to making laws. Okay, I'm going to get into that tomorrow. First of all, let's get started on my story. I think I've already harped long enough on, giving you the hope and helping you to know that during these next 3 days, you are going to learn so much that you might have heard some of it on the internet, but you have not heard all of it put into one place in a way that you can actually take action on. And not very many people out there are willing, to give you for free a program, an ebook that you can actually start doing right away that will definitely help you. And sure, there's some supplements on there that are recommended, but they're not 100% necessary for you to get started and just for you to see that, yes, you do have power. You are not stuck. You are not broken. Yes, you can reverse. Yeah, you can. Okay. So now let me go ahead and get into my story for you. Wow, what a absolutely insane roller coaster ride the Lord has put me on. I'm no young spring chicken. We are in February of 2026 right now. I just turned 63 years old. I didn't start healing until I was in my early 50s. And I literally suffered from the time I was a young teenager, not even fully a teenager. I had been suffering with pretty debilitating chronic symptoms. And they continued to get worse and worse and worse over the years. Now, this is back in the early 70s. And of course, no one's talking about functional medicine or precision medicine or longevity or any of those things, right? We were living in in the great conventional system where, you went to the doctor and they threw a pill at you. And wow, have things really changed very much since then? Excuse me. Conventional medicine has not changed, sadly, very much since then. Now, honestly, just so you know right up front, I am not 100% against conventional medicine, okay? Many people would not be alive today if we did not have the pharmaceutical industry, if we did not have cancer centers, if we did not have all these things that come in and help and save our lives. Okay. So I am not that scientist that is 100% against conventional medicine. What I am against, because I stand for the truth, is I am against someone just having a pill for an ill, which is not doing anything about the underlying root causes, therefore allowing the disease to progress. And all they're doing is band-aiding with Big Pharma. And Big Pharma is very corrupted and making, trillions of dollars off of you remaining sick. Cancer centers are still feeding people out of vending machines. Hospitals, if you get sick and you go to a hospital, they're still feeding you the absolute worst diet that literally makes people sick, that literally causes cellular inflammation. Have they changed? No. This should really piss people off. I'm sorry. It really pisses me off. It is wrong. And that's why we have so many good doctors and scientists standing up and screaming out loud about this. And you even have in our functional medicine, precision medicine communities of all of us practitioners, where we go to get our training and where we congregate and where we talk to each other and learn more, we're seeing about a 40% influx of new doctors and scientists and health coaches and nurses and everybody coming in to learn because they realize, wow, people are opening their eyes, especially after what happened with COVID. People are opening their eyes and they're realizing what we've been saying for over 10 years, what the other practitioners who have come long before me, who taught me, they've been saying for over 30 years. Wow, we really do know what causes the chronic illness and the autoimmune diseases and the heart disease and the Alzheimer's and the ADHD and the anxiety and the blah, blah, blah. We really do know what causes it, and we know how to prevent it, and we know how to fix it. But wow, is that getting translated through medical schools? No, because Big Pharma controls medical schools. And so I am not 100% against Big Pharma. And as a matter of fact, we can use Big Pharma while we're working on your root causes to help make things a little easier on you. But the system is corrupted. And people are believing a total Babylonian lie about their health because doctors aren't taught everything that they need to know. Even me, as a research scientist, I was not taught all the science. And that's what I spent 13 years in school for, and over $200,000 that I'll be paying back until I die. All my student loans. Okay. I thought I was getting everything there is to know at the master's and PhD level to help people with autoimmune disease and with chronic illness. Wow. Not even close. Not even close. I was only taught what Big Pharma wanted me to learn, which is a bunch of band-aiding. It's not root cause medicine. It's not getting to the underlying real hidden reasons for why people get sick in the first place. And it's not doing a darn thing to help people actually reverse and heal. And so therefore, we've got this whole society of people who are very, very chronically ill. 88% of people have moderate to severe metabolic disease. That's your mitochondria, your little energy factories being so screwed up. I'm going to get into that tomorrow. So many of us have the first domino to getting sick, and most people don't even know it. Even children. 60% of our children in Western societies. Oh boy, okay, I'm going to get into that tomorrow. So now, let me back up and now that I've said all that about Big Pharma, I was basically raised in Big Pharma. So I started getting sick when I was about 12 years old. Actually, it was before that, but it really started culminating and getting really bad when I was about 12 years old. I missed a lot of school, just terrible. But, I kept going because that's what you do when you're a type A go-getter personality. That's what you do, right? And there's so many people, especially women, but also men, suffering with pretty severe chronic illness and, that then gravitates into autoimmune disease because of the personality types that we are. Because God created us to be, hey, whatever it is, we're gonna plow through. We're gonna go for this. We're just gonna do whatever we have to do in life. We're gonna take care of people. We're gonna love people. We're gonna take care of our kids first. We're gonna take care of everybody else first, right? Whatever we need for our career, we're gonna make sure it happens. Right? The responsible types in the world, the leader types in the world. A lot of these people have a lot of problems with chronic illness symptoms and autoimmune disease for a very real reason. We push ourselves too hard. So I was the typical classic autoimmune disease patient and not even knowing it. Multiple symptoms, lots of illnesses, lots of things coming out of the blue, hitting me, and I just kept going. If they told me, oh, well, you've got this problem with your feet. Okay, well, I just keep going. Okay, well, you've got chronic migraines. You always have a headache. You've always had a headache since you were 12 years old, all the way up into your 50s. Well, my mother had headaches too, so therefore that's why. Nobody ever looked at the underlying root cause. Okay. Oh, well, you've got, recurring bouts with strep throat and bronchitis and all kinds of crazy illness. Well, that's just the way I am. You just keep going. Okay. And I know that people listening to this, I know that you're very similar because I've been helping literally thousands of people for over 10 years now. And I'm telling you, I have talked to so many people and we're all the same. We're all very similar, right? We just keep having more and more and more inflammatory symptoms. And so that's where I was too. Just kept going. Just, I was so excited to go back to school and to become a scientist. And, I've always been that weird geeky kid that got straight A's. And I was always just so enamored with biochemical mechanisms in the body. And I just had to learn every tiny little detail. And I'm still like that today. I'm still really weird about and really, really super geeky about learning everything there is to know so that I can keep myself healthy and so that I can help you too. So there I was, and I'm in school, and I got a double major for my bachelor's degree. And, then I went on to get my master's degree in immunotoxicology. And then I got totally enamored with the specialty of autoimmune disease and chronic illness. And so then I went on to do my PhD work in autoimmune disease specifically, and wrote a bunch of papers. And I felt like, I felt like my career was really taking off. I really felt confident and excited, and I felt like I had learned everything there is to know, and I was just so excited to finish my PhD and to continue working. I worked while I was doing my master's and PhD, so I was that go-getter. I was also a single mom at that time. So right, talk about burning the candle at all different ends, right? Single mom, working, and in school, getting the highest degrees you can obtain all at the same time. And then you wonder why. my stress level in my body just kind of said, enough, right? And that's basically what happened. The symptoms started really piling on as I was finishing my PhD. And, I'm in my 30s, and I'm getting worse and worse and worse. And a lot of weird things started happening. Like, all of a sudden, my brain fog was like so bad that I honestly thought there was something really wrong with me and that I was developing early Alzheimer's disease. I really did. It was very unusual for me not to have really good brain power. That was the gift that God gave me. And I always had it ever since I was a little kid. I didn't know how not to have good brain power. I didn't know how to live like that. And when it happened to me, and when I started losing words, when I got so sick that I couldn't remember my dog's name, when I'm looking at my dog and I'm standing there for like 30 seconds, not being able to remember my dog's name, I'm telling you, that will scare the holy living bejeebers out of you. Okay? And it did me. And I got worse and worse and worse and worse. Multiple symptoms. I mean, I felt like when I tried to go to a doctor and tell the doctor what was happening to my body, I felt like they weren't believing me. Like they just thought I was just a stressed out graduate student. And that's basically what they told me. They said, this is normal for PhD students, okay? You've been in school forever. You've been pushing it for all these years. This is just normal. They called it burnout. They gave me anxiety medication. And I'm like, no, there's multiple things going wrong with my body. We have to figure out what this is. We have to figure out why this is happening because my body's falling apart here. And it basically did. It basically reached a point of critical mass where no matter how much I wanted to continue on, my body literally stopped me. I hit a brick wall and I could not move forward. I was so very ill. And, of course, they're trying me on all these different medications. And at this point, I still didn't even have a solid diagnosis. And I know how you feel. If you're watching this, I know that most people go through this. Do you know the statistics that most people who start having multiple chronic symptoms will languish for 5 to 7 years on average before they get a diagnosis? Some people much longer than that. And it's not that they haven't tried to get a diagnosis. So our system is really not designed to help people with either prevention or reversal of chronic illness symptoms. Doctors just name it, give you a pill for it, move you out, right? Let the insurance company pay for it, boom, out the door you go. Okay, so I understand. I have been in your shoes. Trust me, I understand. And just so you know, I'm not the only one. There's just so many great doctors and scientists out there in our practitioner groups that the main reason why most of us have come to functional, holistic, precision medicine in the first place is because either we became disillusioned with the conventional system because we ourselves got very, very ill and we had to find an answer, or someone we love dearly, our children, our parents, friends, right? So I became very ill it took me, I was actually one of the lucky ones, maybe because I am a scientist and I was able to have that knowledge to dive deeper and knew more of what to do. But I was one of the luckier ones that I did actually get my first diagnosis within about 3 years. My first diagnosis was scleroderma with severe fibromyalgia. Of course, they have to tag the fibromyalgia on there because it's the great catch-all disease. If they don't know what else to call it, you get the diagnosis of fibromyalgia. Right. Chronic inflammation causing pain. Okay. So, I wound up having to go out on disability. I was so very ill. It was a total brick wall. There was nothing else I could do. Sadly, within a few years, my husband, he couldn't handle the fact that our life had changed so dramatically. His plan was that we were going to be that power couple. He's a master's degreed engineer. I'm a PhD scientist. Oh boy, we're going to have money. We're going to travel. We're going to have houses. We're going to, the whole big, crazy dream. And that couldn't happen when his wife got sick. And sadly, he had an affair and left. And so there I was. This is part of my story, very sadly. There I was, had been in this relationship with him for 20 years. It's supposed to be, in sickness and in health till death do you part. Well, if you have been in the chronic illness space for any length of time, you know that most people just can't handle it. It's too big. It's too hard. The emotions are absolutely insane. You never know what's coming from one day to the next. You never know how you're going to feel. You never know if you're all of a sudden going to rally and you're going to have a good day and you can actually get the dishes done, or whether you're going to be in bed and you're going to be in so much pain that you're in the fetal position and no amount of pain medication that the doctor gives you is helping. Okay? I've been through it. I know. After the first diagnosis, about 2 more years went by before I had 7 autoimmune disease diagnosis, okay? Including Hashimoto's, including, all the biggies, right? I had scleroderma, I had lupus antibodies. So scleroderma and lupus together, and they kept going back and forth, MCTD, lupus, okay, just depending on who you spoke to. It was all the same. That's what I learned. It was all the same thing in the end. I had Crohn's disease. My gut was an absolute wreck. I never knew whether I was going to be able to go to the grocery store without having, I call it disaster pants, right? Really embarrassing. Very, very, very difficult. I wound up becoming osteopenic because of all the prednisone and all the different medications that they put me on. I wound up losing a bunch of teeth very young. Oh my gosh. Literally, my story sucks. And I can only laugh about it now because I see the whole truth that the Lord has brought me through. So I was sick, very, very ill, and just getting worse and worse, and them just adding more and more medications on me with 7 different diagnosed autoimmune diseases and fibromyalgia. And they told me that I would only probably live about 10 years. Okay. So this is, a while ago. And what actually happened is I kept living, the most horrible quality of life, but I kept living. I was in the 14th year of my illness when I honestly felt like I was at the end. I had gotten so much worse. And the flare that I had been in for about 2 weeks was the worst flare I had ever been in. And knowing that thought in the back of my head that, I should be dead from this already, and I'm not, my thought came to me, and I was alone in the house when this thought came to me, which is really sad. I just was talking to the Lord, and I said to him, wow, okay, this must be what dying from an autoimmune disease looks like. This must be what it feels like. And I was laying in bed, and I got up because I had to go to the bathroom. And if you've ever been very, very ill with a severe chronic illness or autoimmune disease, you know what it feels like to be laying in bed and you're in such pain and you can barely move, you can barely roll over, let alone think about getting up to go to the bathroom. But I couldn't hold it anymore. I had to go. So got up, made it to the bathroom. On my way back, I collapsed. And I was still lucid. I didn't pass out. Excuse me. And I'm laying on the floor and just crying out to the Lord. And I basically said to him, please don't take me yet. I was raising my granddaughter by myself because my daughter also had very severe chronic illness. And I just cried out to the Lord and I just told him, please don't take me yet. My one desire was that I would be able to raise my granddaughter, and I was all she had. And that was my biggest goal in life, is just to live long enough to be able to see her to adulthood so she wouldn't have to go into foster care, God forbid. And so I was laying on the floor and I was just crying, and really I'm out loud calling out to the Lord in my house by myself. And I just said, Lord, please don't take me yet. And then I just got really, really emotional. And I literally yelled this to the Lord. I looked up and I said, Lord, I am a scientist. You created me with this brain and this knowledge, and you put me through school, and I spent all this money, and God, I mean, and it's just been a waste for the last 14 years. I've not been able to use all this, and I've had basically no purpose in life except to tell people about Jesus, which I always did, but which is important, and raising Jana. But my main thing that I was saying to the Lord was, come on. If I've missed something, if there's anything that I can do to keep living, to fix this, you've got to show me. Please show me. And so I laid there on the floor for a little while. I don't know how long. I was so weak, and I was just kind of I wasn't all there, you know. And then finally I felt strong enough to get up back into bed, and my TV was over my bed. And I looked up, and there on the screen, okay, now this is the truth, and people can believe it or not, whatever, you know, right? All I'm doing is telling you the truth about what happened and how the Lord showed me the truth. On the screen was a video, and it said scleroderma, which was my first diagnosis, my biggest diagnosis, and functional medicine. Okay, now look, I was a very conventionally trained, and let's just tell it like it is, arrogant scientist. I was taught that we don't trust in any of that natural woo-woo stuff, the holistic stuff, the herbs, all of that, okay? I was taught very specifically that was a bunch of bull, okay? Which is a lie. It's a lie straight from the pit of hell, but that's what I was taught in conventional school. Now, I was taught that, oh yeah, some of it, some good little herbs and nutrition things. Okay, but no, they are not everything, right? I learned the opposite was actually true. And so when I'm looking at this on the screen, and it said functional medicine. Number one, I had never even heard of functional medicine. I'm like, what the heck? And I literally did this. I literally looked at it in my feeling so horrible and just looking at the screen, and I went, what a crock of crap, right? And I picked up the remote and I flipped off of it. But for about an hour, I felt very, very strongly that the Holy Spirit was bugging me. Like he was tapping me on the shoulder, and he was like, go back and watch that. Go back and watch that. Go back and watch that. And I finally said out loud, because it was it bothered me so much that I finally said out loud directly to the Holy Spirit. I said, all right, you really want me to watch this stupid thing? I will, but I'm sure it's just a bunch of woo. I'm sure it's just a bunch of hooey. Okay. And so I did. I went back and I put that video on. Within about the first 5 minutes, I realized that the Lord had literally answered my prayer that I was praying right there on the floor when I said, if I've missed anything, please show me. And he showed me with that video. And that was the very beginning of my eyes being opened and realizing that there really is way more science out there than what most doctors and scientists are taught in medical school. And boy, I had to go through a lot of retraining, relearning, a lot of anger, a lot of disillusionment, a lot of feeling like, wow, my whole life has just been groomed into a lie. And I've been sick for all these years, basically, right? But at that time, even though I spent like the first 3 months really diving deep into the rest of the science and, did the whole scientific thing, I'm doing the meta-analysis. This is what we're taught to do as scientists. We're taught to look at all the data. Only this time I was really looking at all of it, not just what my advisor in school told me to look at. Okay. And within about the first 3 months, I realized that, wow, there is so much more that I could be doing. There's so much more that I wasn't taught. There are people reversing. There are people getting well. And it's not just 1 or 2 people. It's not like these miracle stories that are, few and far between, like literally thousands of people. And this was, this was like over 10 years ago. So it's even more now. Okay. And at that time, I was still sitting very much in a place of fear, right? And of course, I'm still very sick. I'm brain fogged. I'm not thinking as clearly when you're real sick. Okay. And I was still thinking, well, maybe if this can buy me a couple of years, or if it can at least help me to feel a little bit better right now, because God knows I can't just continue day to day. It's such a horrible struggle having severe chronic illness and autoimmune disease. And so I thought, well, if any of this can help, then of course I'm going to do it. I'm not an idiot. And I am a scientist, so I could read the science and I could see that the science was credible. And if the Lord shows me something, I'm not going to tell him no. And so I did. I just started doing all these, the basics at first that I know a lot of people with chronic illness already know, and they've already tried some of this. The problem is they're not doing everything they need to do, especially if they've been really, really sick for a long time. They just don't know everything that they need to do. But I started doing, and that's the point. I started doing, not just bouncing from doctor to doctor. I started actually doing what the science says you must do in order to help your cells to heal, in order to heal at the genetic level, in order to heal at the cellular level, in order to heal at the organ level, to heal your mitochondria, your metabolic dysfunction, your hormones, your brain dysfunction, all of it. And I started doing it. And it wasn't easy at first, but I started actually making those changes. I wasn't perfect at it. I screwed up a lot. I still got better. I still started seeing that there was hope, that I could be way more in control than I thought I could. I had way more tools than Big Pharma. I had a lot of things that I could be doing. And I kept learning and learning and learning and doing and doing and doing. Now, the bottom line in my story is, yes, I started seeing different things get better over time. Some things happened faster. Some things took a long time to heal. Like my liver dysfunction, which was really bad. My enzymes were through the roof. My fatty liver, one day the doctor came to me and said, you don't have fatty liver anymore. And I was like, that's impossible. And he said, well, apparently it's not, because you just did it. My liver had been screwed up for well over a decade. I was told that was incurable. There was nothing I could do. That was not true. My gut issues, which were extremely severe, I kind of told you a little bit about that. Because it's so embarrassing, I'm not going to go into all the details, but my gut issues really started changing. Things started calming down. I started realizing that, oh my goodness. And I really did have control. I really did. Now, the whole healing process, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you that it was some quick fix and it was just easy and all of that, because it wasn't. And if you are serious about getting your life back and you're done with all this bull and you're no longer going to settle for being stuck in the trap of Satan thinking that you're broken and there's nothing you can do, yeah, you're going to have to go through some stuff to get to the other side. And you shouldn't be afraid of that, because this is a journey that the Lord wants to take you through. And I am 100% convinced, like you cannot convince me anything else, because I've watched so many people walk through the healing process at this point, and every single one of us, we all say the same thing. As we're going through it, it feels like a 2-step forward, 1 step back, weird little dance. You're still getting better and better, but it's not a direct line up. It's like, whoa, it's not easy. It is going to challenge you to get better. And I'm convinced that that's exactly where the Lord wants you, because the healing process, the physical healing, is the icing on the cake. Now, you think that's crazy for me to say, maybe. I'm 100% convinced the Lord is allowing us. Number one, you all know Romans 8:28. And if you don't, maybe I'll read it to you in a minute. But you are promised that everything that happens in your life is for your good if you love the Lord and you're called according to his purpose. And if you love him, then you are called according to his purpose. And so even the hardest things in life, the Lord is going to use. And the Lord is going to use it not only for your good, but for everyone's good around you. He does not work in a vacuum, and he does not lie. And so I can see it. I see it in myself. I see it in every client I've ever had. Well, every client who chose to do the work, that is, and who, right? I see that the emotional and the spiritual growth was way more powerful. And yeah, they got the physical reversal of symptoms. They got the physical, but every single one of them will tell you that the emotional growth, the strength, the spiritual growth, the spiritual trust in the Lord that they earned because of the work that they did on their physical health, because of their willingness to trust the Lord, to trust the Lord's science, which all science, all it is truth. If it's real science, then it's truth, and that means the Lord created it. It's his. And you can have that science. You can have that knowledge. You can align with God's design for your health. And what the Lord does in the middle of that is he turns it into something way bigger than you ever thought you were going to get. You think you're just working on getting rid of this one symptom over here or several symptoms over there. And what the Lord is actually doing in your life is he's growing you. He's working in you. You're not doing this by yourself. He's working in you. He's growing you. He's changing you. He's loving you. And he's turning you into the Christ-like person that he created you to be. And that's what he did for me. And he's still doing it. So it took me about 2 years to get to a point, and I'm almost done with my story here. But I've got the best part to tell you. It took me about 2 years to get to a place where I really felt like I could look back and go, wow, I really don't have the severity of symptoms that I used to have. I truly am a different woman. I've lost 100 pounds. I mean, I had gained a lot of weight. Part of it was the prednisone they had me on, but part of it was just the fact that I did not eat like I should have. And anyway, it took about 2 years to get me to that place where I could literally have that, like that hallelujah moment where I could just go, I'm really not that sick woman anymore. The Lord honestly really did show me how to heal. And he really did answer my prayer to let me continue living, to raise my granddaughter. My granddaughter's 21 now, by the way. She's all grown up. She still lives with me. We're best friends. I adore her. She's a pride of my life. My daughter is also healed now, thanks to precision and functional medicine. She had to do a lot of work to get her health back on track as well. And now it's like me and my daughter, my granddaughter, and we're all healed and we're all like, wow. It is such a beautiful thing that the Lord has done in our lives and in my clients' lives. But here's the best part of the story. And I'm going to try to finish this within the next 5 minutes here, but knowing me, it'll go long. So I hope you can hang out. I was sitting and praying, and I like to write in a journal when I pray because my brain just flips and I just go in 100 different directions, and you know how that is sometimes. And so I'm praying and I'm writing all this down in my journal. And I started getting this. At first, I was thanking him, right? And saying, well, I really am healed. This is amazing. And I even just so you know, over the next year, I got even better. So I thought I was really almost totally healed at that 2-year mark. But really, it took another year and I just kept getting better and better. Truth be known, I'm way better today than I even was then. Just amazing what the body can do. But anyway, I was praying and I was thanking him and realizing, wow. And then the next thing that happened was I got angry because I started thinking about how terrible the last 14, 15 years had been. 16 years of illness, of loss of my career, of loss of what I thought was my purpose, being a scientist, of loss of my husband, of just loss of quality of life, all the pain, all the suffering. And then I really got angry. I really just I was incensed over the fact, and I said to the Lord, I said, if you were just gonna heal me anyway, why didn't you do it sooner? Because look at all the trauma that Jana, my granddaughter, had gone through. Every time they had to whisk me off to the hospital, to this day, she will tell you she still has weird PTSD feelings whenever I get even a cold. And it's because of all the trauma that she went through being raised by me, because multiple trips to multiple ambulance rides when she thought I wasn't going to come home. And she had to be taken somewhere else to be taken care of, to some other family at church would come and pick her up and take care of her for days on end while I was still in the hospital and bring her to the hospital to visit me. And okay, what a horrible, horrible life for her to never have the security. Now, we didn't tell her that I was dying. We never told her that I only had 10 years to live. Never. Of course, we're not going to do that. But she still suffered. She never knew. She always thought that if I got taken to the hospital, that maybe I wouldn't come home. And so I was really angry about that. And I want to say, because I love the Lord so much, I want to say that the truth is I wasn't really angry at him. I was angry at the situation itself. And I really wanted to know why he allowed that. And so I said that to him because I'm a little bit of a firecracker. And here's what happened next. And when I tell this part of my story, not everybody believes me, and that's okay. You don't have to believe me, but this is just what happened. And I've never in my life since then, or before then, I have never had anything like this ever happen. It's only happened once, but it was a crazy thing. It's very difficult to explain. All I know is that it felt like within a split second, I was given a download. And it was so much information that it took me a while to process what had happened. And physically, in that split second, what happened to me was I'm just sitting on the couch and I'm writing and I'm angry and I'm I'm bitching and complaining at the Lord. And the very next second, I was on all fours on the floor, doing the ugly cry, doing the heaving thing. I mean, it just happened that fast. All I know today is that the Lord spoke to me in a way. It wasn't audible, but it sure was weird. It sure was one of those like wild spiritual experiences that you just know that you know that you know that, wow, what just happened here? It was a blessing from the Lord. And it was him speaking to me. And basically, when I had time to sit down and process it after I got up off the floor and I started writing again. And what it was that in a nutshell, the Lord was saying, this was my plan for your life. Yeah, the enemy wanted to use it for his purposes, but I love you, and I did not allow that. And I have taken all of those things that were meant to destroy you, that were meant to destroy your granddaughter, and I have worked them out for your good. And I am still working them out for your good. And you don't even know what the future has, what I have planned for you. And this is your calling. And it was meant to be this way. You had to not only have the scientific rigorous training and 13 years of school at the highest level. I needed you to walk through this battle yourself. I needed you to actually feel the emotions. I needed you to actually feel the pain of what other people suffer. I needed you to actually know what it was like to suffer with an autoimmune disease, not just know about it, in order for you to be able to help people at the depth of the level that I've called you to help people with. This is everything that he said to me in a nutshell. And at that point, I was so crazy thankful. And crazy thankful in the moment that I was crying on the floor. And then even more crazy thankful as I'm processing this and I'm writing it all out and I'm going back and I'm rereading what just happened and it was wild. And I realized what the Lord had done. And then since then, he's just allowed me to get better and better. He started bringing me people to help when I didn't even feel like I was ready. All I knew is how to take care of myself. At that point, I had not gone through any extra training in functional or precision medicine. I nothing at that point, right? Yet, I knew certain things that I had learned and how I had helped myself. And so I started helping other people because the Lord just started bringing me people. Like people are calling me. Hey, I heard that you lost 100 pounds. Hey, I learned, someone told me that blah, 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 blah. And people just started coming. And I literally told the Lord, I said, I'm not ready. Oh my gosh, I'm still healing. I'm not ready. I don't know how to run a business. Oh my gosh. I don't know how to do marketing. Oh my gosh, this is too much, right? I really felt like it was all like, it was all happening so fast. But I just went with it. I just started helping people. And then, of course, I went back. I got more training. I did what I needed to do. I got my licensure. I did everything that I needed to do and started the business officially and just started helping people. And now at this point, we've literally helped thousands of people to just feel better, right? At whatever level they're willing to do the work at, right? And there are people who have completely reversed illnesses that the doctor said, this is going to take you out. You're done. This is going to take you out. Reversed. Okay. And there are people who maybe only get 50% better. That's the level of work that they're willing to do. Right. And that's okay too. That feels better to them. They like that too. They could do more for whatever reason. They don't. Okay. Everybody's a little bit different. But I'm telling you, the level of work that you're willing to do with the Lord, you're not doing it by yourself. You're doing it with the Lord. The Lord is always working in you. That's his promise. And when you've got help, when you've got people around you who are experts at this, who have helped lots of people, who've helped themselves, and when they can help you to make this work for you, because it really is an N of one situation. That's a scientific term that means you're unique. N, it stands for the number of people, right? N equals one. It's a scientific term that means you are unique. Your genetics are unique. Your various different things that your cells are missing is unique. Your nutrition is unique. Your level of toxic overload, which is one of the main things that I'm going to teach you about this week, about your chronic illness and what the main root causes of it, the different toxicities that you have been exposed to, is unique. The different levels, the different types is unique. And so a good functional or precision practitioner will always be looking at you as a unique individual. And of course, here at our mission, we know that God created you as a unique child of God, and that He is working in you. He has a plan and a purpose for your life. And I know that sounds like just a Christian cliche, but it's not. It's just the truth. It's just biblical truth. And that, when Jesus was here on earth, the main thing that He did to prove how much God loves you is He went around healing people. And He healed people from very dire, deadly, chronic diseases. Even other things. Even He raised people from the dead, okay? So we cannot put God in a box. We know here because we are a dedicated Christian ministry. And so we are dedicated to keeping precision and functional healthcare as affordable as we possibly can. It's not, you can do so much for free. When you start getting into some of the deeper stuff that many people need, yeah, it is going to cost a little money. And we're dedicated to keeping it as affordable as we possibly can for you. And again, this is the calling on my life. And the team that I have put around me here, they all feel exactly the same way, that this is God's work that the Lord has blessed us with in order to help you to just have the life that He created you for, not to be limited by the lies of Satan about your health, not to be limited by what you don't know. Knowledge is power. Knowledge, the scripture says, my people die from lack of knowledge. It's true. It's true. People die of preventable illness every day. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. We should all be taught God's science and the knowledge of preventing chronic illness and autoimmune disease, and then being able to take control and reverse chronic illness and autoimmune disease. Even cancers, even Alzheimer's is now known to be not maybe completely, but reversible to a great degree. That's end-stage life right there, man. That's chronic inflammation for decades and decades. So you wouldn't really expect for us to be able to completely just, reverse something like Alzheimer's disease and dementia. But it's not just a genetic disease. It is a totally preventable, and yes, we do have the tools to help people reverse even that severe of a disease, even the severe autoimmune diseases like multiple sclerosis, like ALS and lupus and scleroderma. And there are so many things that you can do to help your cells to regenerate, to actually reverse. And we're going to teach you all about that over the next 3 days. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it because it's just the truth. I hope you believe it. I hope you do, because I want you to be able to walk through the same thing that I've walked through, and hopefully make it a lot easier on you, because I had to do it a lot by myself before I had some help. But I just want you to feel better. I'm talking to that one person now, right? Who's maybe watching this live with me now, or who is, watching in the recording, or wherever you are, even if this is like a year from now and you're catching this on YouTube or whatever, okay? I just want to stop and speak directly to your heart right now. The science is real. It's the Lord's science. It's his truth for you. And yes, yeah, you can have hope. You can do so much more. And I know all the objections that come up because I've been through them and I've been helping people for years. So I know all those fear thoughts that come up in your head and all the objections. Well, I've tried everything. Well, I've done this. Well, I've done that. Well, this didn't work. Well, that didn't work. Well, this blah, 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 blah. I'm just telling you, all of that stuff, we're going to be talking about it over the next several days. And we're going to be diving deep into the fact, I'm going to be showing you the science. I'm not just going to be blowing smoke. Okay, I'm going to be showing you the real science, not just giving you a story like I did today. I will be showing you the proof. Okay, and I want you to come. I want you to come for all 3 days. And I also want you to know I'm not going to be selling you anything during those 3 days. At the end, I always give an offer if anyone is interested and they would like to come work with us. And I have several different offers to fit, all different financial situations, right? To help people to get their health back. But the bottom line is, you don't have to buy a thing from me. You don't. You could just prove it to yourself with the free program that I gave you. And if you don't have that free program, make sure that you go to risehealchallenge.com. And, when you give me your email and your phone number in there, that brings you into my private community so that I can send you the free program. I can even call you. I often do that. Now, I can't call everyone. But every week, one of the things that really gives me a lot of joy is being able to pick up the phone and just pick someone out of our community that I haven't met yet, that I haven't talked to yet. And I love to just get on the phone and just say, hey, it's Dory, the autoimmune geek. And they're like, huh? What? What? Really? You're calling me? And I'm like, yeah, I really want to get to know you. Like, I really want to help you. What questions can I answer for you today? I love teaching people, right? This is the calling on my life. Are you kidding me? This is the work that God created me to do. So you give me your phone number in there when you come into our community, and you might just get a phone call from me. But either way, I want you to have that free program. I want you to be able to use it. It's a free program, and it also comes with an ebook so that, whether you like watching a video or whether you like reading stuff and you want to look up links, it's got all the scientific references as proof for you. In this one program literally can help you to start to get your energy back. It is little as 30 days, and some people even get it faster. It just depends. Everybody's different. But yeah, most people do start to see that, wow, I really do have more control over my illness than I thought I did. Okay. All right. So I've gone long, which, I always do. That's everybody expects that of me. But I thank you. If you've been here with me live on the live stream, or you have or you're watching this video all the way through, I just thank you for being here and for being willing to listen to me and my, little bit of a weird geeky self that talks too much. And I just thank you for being here and for being willing to show up for yourself, because that's what you're doing. And I am absolutely positive that God has brought you here today for a purpose, because he's doing the same thing with you that he did with me over 10 years ago. And he is showing you that there is a better way, that there really is more that you can do, that you don't have to stay stuck in that cage that evil has got you in, making you believe that you're just broken and that there's nothing you can do and that your cells don't regenerate. Wow, what a big fat lie. What a big fat lie. And you don't have to believe it anymore. So I am convinced that God brought you here for a reason, that he wants you to hear this truth that's coming out of my mouth, but that is also coming out of multiple mouths all over the internet and in beautiful practices around the world. People are healing because we do know what the root causes of chronic illness and autoimmune disease are in the scientific community. We know what the root causes are, and we know how to reverse those root causes for the most part. For the most part. Maybe not 100% yet, but guess what? You don't need to be perfect. You're not Jesus. I mean, look, I'm not perfectly healthy as much as I do, right? It's still a battle. It's hard. I like cheesecake too, okay? And I feel great. And my life is totally, totally, totally different than what it was when I was just languishing and sick and I thought I knew it all. Okay, so if you think you know it all, if you're that person, you think you know it all, okay, all right. I was the PhD scientist who had spent $200,000 in 13 years on my education, specifically in autoimmune disease and chronic illness. Oh, yeah, you think you know it all? I thought I knew it all too. Guess what? I didn't know crap. I mean, I learned a lot. Not saying that my education was for nothing. I'm so glad that I was trained to have that scientific rigor, to be able to puzzle piece, to be able to figure things out at the molecular level, and to be able to understand all that crazy stuff, all that biochemistry. I am so glad that I have that training to be able to help people with, but guess what? All that knowledge that I thought was enough was not, until the Lord taught me the rest of the science that's out there. And so that's what I'm going to teach you in the next 3 days. So, okay, it is 12:20. I have gone 20 minutes long, but I love you. Thank you for sticking with me. I really do love you as a brother or sister in Christ. And even if you don't believe in Jesus, I love you anyway. And I'm not here to proselytize you. I'm just here to be who I am and to love on you and to give you the scientific truth that you absolutely can heal. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Tomorrow, we're starting at 11 a.m. Central Time. Okay. That's 9 a.m. Pacific Time. It's 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Central Time, or 12 noon Eastern Time. And we'll go for an hour. We'll probably go just a little bit long, like I always do. And I am going to start teaching you over the next 3 days so much information. You're going to go poof. Your mind is going to be blown. You are going to learn things that you didn't know, and you are going to start taking control of your own health with the Lord's help, with my help. And you're not going to be alone in this. And yes, you can do this. Don't believe the lie that you cannot. Don't even allow that lie, because it is a big fat lie. There is so much I have to teach you, and I just can't wait to do it. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go now, and I will see you back here at 11 a.m. Central Time tomorrow, Wednesday, the 18th of February. Okay, bye.